Alright guys, I hope you're having a good Easter, but this solar eclipse that I've been looking into just got even weirder, just got stranger and more suspicious what they are doing, right? So, not saying anything's going to happen, but they are testing the waters and they are seeing what could happen, right? And we're going to dive into that, and I'm going to show the data and the details of potentially things that we could see. We could see EMP like effects. We could see solar flare like effects. And they are even tapping into this and studying this. All right, NASA is right now. So let's dive into this news here really quick. Hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple times a day, keeping you guys updated on this big stuff. All right, so I made a video on the solar eclipse probably a couple weeks ago now, right? But now it's gotten even fishier and even stranger, and it could be nothing, but they also could use it to amplify it, and something could happen, right? And I also talked about how there are the potential for earthquakes. There was a very similar solar eclipse that crossed X marks the spot right over the New Madrid fault line in Missouri, okay, which actually caused some of the largest earthquakes in U.S. history during the 1800s from a very similar eclipse. And the year following, there were multiple earthquakes, massive earthquakes throughout that entire year, record-breaking earthquakes the whole year after this major eclipse, right? So we could see geological disturbances from this, because think about it, the moon pulls the tides, moves all the water around. There's water, there's underwater rivers, aquifers, caverns, everything deep within the earth. The entire earth is filled with water and geomagnetic material, and that could be influenced from this heavy gravitational pull when the sun and the moon and the earth all line up, right? So that's speculation one, but NASA is now looking into this as well, and we also have CERN doing something very suspicious during the solar eclipse too. So let's get into what NASA's doing first, and then we will talk about CERN, which is the particle accelerator in Switzerland. All right, but you can see here NASA to shoot rockets at April solar eclipse to see how it messes with the atmosphere. All right, this article just came out a few days ago. It says boffins hope to better understand how phenomenon disrupt comms tech in order to prevent future outages. Right? You hear that? They're worried that the solar eclipse is disrupting communication technology. Things like satellites, things like cell phones, and even the electrical grid could be affected by this, because during an eclipse, the ionosphere is extremely excited. Right? There's a ton of ionization going on, and the ionosphere becomes very plasmic, meaning that it's mostly plasma. It's already mostly plasma, but especially during an eclipse, it becomes high-powered plasma, the ionosphere, and the ionosphere is the layer of the atmosphere that is interacting with the sun directly, ionizing particles. All right? And I know that's a mouthful, but that affects everything. It affects the magnetosphere, and it also affects the geomagnetism of the earth, and can disrupt the grounding of the earth as well, and can affect electrical grids and communication technologies. All right, but you can see here it says there's a total solar eclipse coming in North America, and NASA plans to shoot some rockets at it to see how the ionosphere changes as the sun is obscured by the moon. It says NASA plans to launch a trio of sounding rockets before, during, and after the eclipse on April 8th. And it says they were in the hopes of being able to better predict and prevent disruptions to terrestrial communications tech. All right, this is what they are warning of. And they're saying that the solar eclipse could cause major disruptions to our technology. This is big. It says understanding the ionosphere and developing models to help us predict disturbances is crucial to making sure our increasingly communication-dependent world operates smoothly. All right, so, and the big thing about the ionosphere, Harp. Okay, HARP is the main technology that manipulates the ionosphere. This is on HARP's website right here. It says, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HARP, is a scientific endeavor aimed at studying the properties and behavior of the ionosphere. The ionosphere stretches roughly 50 to 400 miles above Earth's surface, right at the edge of space. Along with the neutral upper atmosphere, the ionosphere forms a boundary between Earth's lower atmosphere, where we live, and the vacuum of space, according to NASA. All right, so HARP manipulates and interacts with the ionosphere and mimics what the sun does, electrically manipulates and magnetically the ionosphere, okay, which then affects things like grounding on the Earth. Okay, so look at this. What is a geomagnetic disturbance and how does it affect the power grid? You can see here the reason that geomagnetic disturbances are of a particularly concern to the power grid is geomagnetically induced currents. GICs are caused by geomagnetic disturbances causing electric current variations in the magnetosphere and the ionosphere, which then cause effects of the Earth's magnetic field. All right, so they're saying disturbances in the ionosphere and magnetosphere, which HARP directly interacts with the ionosphere and charges it and sends frequencies through it and can create artificial aurora. That's why it's the Active Auroral Research Program. All right, and when there are disturbances in the ionosphere or magnetosphere, it causes geomagnetic disturbances on Earth, which affects things like grounding and affects currents that are coming down and being picked up by things like power lines and overriding them and overwhelming them and frying them, all right, like an EMP, like a solar flare. And they can potentially mimic this technology. I'm not saying 100%, but it seems like potentially they can, and they're trying to figure out how to do it if they can. It says this causes currents to be induced in conductors such as power lines, which will then affect the power grid transformers. All right, so this is serious, and they are studying this. I'm not saying anything's going to happen on the eclipse. It could just be another day, but it also could be an event that could potentially be taken advantage of. Check this out too. All right, CERN to test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for, quote, invisible matter that secretly powers the universe. And what is this called, this invisible matter? It's called dark matter. Dark matter. Very telling what they call this, and it's very sketchy what they are doing, and potentially dangerous what they're doing. We don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're trying to tap in to the Higgs boson, which is potentially the essence of all creation, right? That's what they're trying to tap in and find with this particle accelerator, which runs hundreds of miles underneath Switzerland and multiple different countries and uses more power than entire countries combined in Europe. So who's paying for this? And they're looking for dark matter, and they're doing it during the solar eclipse. So here's the opening ceremony for CERN. This is from NBC News. This is 100% real. And if you've never seen this, you're not going to believe that this is real. But this is 100% real. This has been out for almost a decade now. All right, this is from NBC News. These are real pictures from the ceremony. Look at this. A guy dressed as a goat. Kind of looks like a Baphomet to me. All right. Look at this. An artist performs with wings during the show. All right, and this was supposedly and see the workers on the ground. There were, I believe, 6 workers that passed away during the building of CERN, and they were representing them with this weird winged angel thing. Like, do you see this? This is a little weird. Okay, not normal for a particle accelerator. I thought it's just a particle accelerator. Some weird crown of thorns. This was at CERN. I made a video about this years ago showing this, and people thought I was crazy. Okay, it was a bizarre ceremony. Okay, nuns, pope, fake pope. It feels very sacrilegious, right? Feels very sketchy. So that was the opening ceremony for it. I don't know why that would be the ceremony, but it was. And it was very dystopian and very strange looking. And now they're starting up and they're trying to tap into the essence of the universe. That's what they say. What does that mean? And they're trying to tap into dark matter. Very weird. Is it something else? Is they're trying to tap into some other forces, other beings, other realms, potentially? Is that what they're trying to tap into? Why is it underground? All right, it's all very suspicious and strange. I'm not saying it's anything. It could just be a giant waste of time and money. All right, we don't really know exactly what it is, but when all this stuff is connected to it, and they're doing it during the solar eclipse, at the same time NASA is trying to manipulate the ionosphere with these rockets, I don't trust that they're just surveillance rockets. These rockets could be EMP rockets. What if it's a rocket going up and has an EMP on it? Or it has EMP-like effects from the way it can supercharge the ionosphere and cause electrical currents to come down through the atmosphere and disturb the geomagnetics of the Earth. All right, so this is what we need to be on the lookout for. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it's very strange and very suspicious. And this is the statue that's also outside of CERN. This is the real statue outside of CERN. Admittedly, they put it there outside of the office building. And this is a statue of Shiva, the Destroyer. Shiva the Destroyer. So, I don't know what's going on. Very strange. Very esoteric. Feels sacrilegious. And I want to know what you guys think of this. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Go check out my video I posted earlier today. I hope you guys are having a good Easter and a blessed Easter with your family, with your friends, with your kids, with your grandkids, with your dog, with your chickens, whoever you're celebrating with. Alright, I hope you have a good Easter and a blessed Easter as well, and a blessed year. Right? This is the rebirth. This is spring. It's time to try to do something this year. Now is the year. All right? Even if you're in an apartment building, you can get prepped. You can try to grow some microgreens. Try to do something. Try to do something. You can grow some stuff in lights. You can do hydroponics, aquaponics, grow lights. You can do microgreens under lights. You don't have to have a single ray of sunshine to grow food. That's the best way to do it, but you don't have to if your circumstances are limited. So just try something. This year's the year to do it, because big things are coming, guys, and you need to be prepared and ready for them. All right, so thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.